Hello everyone out there, I hope you're keeping healthy and safe in these very crazy times that we're in. It's a strange world what's going on at the moment, but I don't want to dwell too much on that. I'm just going to make a point about how every year in New Zealand we have the 48 hours competition in which people make a film in 48 hours, and I do it every single year, although this year it's been cancelled because of, well, obvious reasons, COVID-19, but they have sort of replaced it with like a mini 48 hours in which you basically just do it with whoever you are in your bubble, basically who you're living with. And like my specialty is I just record location sound. That's normally all I really do. So I can't really be recording actors on set and be working with the camera crew and everybody else on set because you're stuck with just who you are with, me and my flatmate here. Like there's somebody else here, and I don't really have a great desire to do the editing and directing and script writing and all the other parts of being a one-person team. I have actually tried to do it all of myself. The very first time I ever did 48 hours when I was in film school back then, and that was a mission and a half. I'm just happy focusing on my niche of sound. But so I thought I might kind of give it a skip this year, or at least this competition. But then a director friend of mine messaged me and said, "Could you read out these lines here?" And I'm like, well, I guess if I can't record actors, I guess one person I can be recording pretty well. I can be recording myself for this. So that's what I've been doing. I've been recording myself here because I thought, why not? Give it a go. Go a little bit outside my comfort zone and try to act as for these voiceover lines. So yeah, it was only a few lines, just like one page of dialogue, of which I'm one person, and the other person I had Helen, my flatmate, just read the lines back for me, so I had something to try to bounce off, and did a few read-throughs, and I played a few play-arounds. I feel like did maybe okay for somebody who's no good at it whatsoever. Anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about the fun parts, the technical things. So I have up here my AKG CK63 microphone with a 460 capsule, and so yeah, that's a nice hypercardioid I'm using on a berm, and so I had that running down. I had it on a pop filter and just in front, and I've got my C stand here set up as basically the mic to stand forward, and and I did adjust it a little bit, the height, because there was at one point when I was trying another delivery when I was sort of more just looking down my nose and standing very straight, so I had to actually lifted up for that moment when I was recording it. And but then the interesting part is I guess down here with my recorder I've got here, which is my Sound Devices 833, and I've got here on the outside it's turned off. I've got here the big external battery, and I've got the CEDAR DNS-2 running through it. So I thought this would be, even though there was no real need for it, I just thought this would be a good excuse to try a setup up. And as you can see, I've got 3 tracks that are running pretty much the same here and how they're behaving, because I've basically got the berm that's going into channel 3 but routed to track 1 because I prefer the berm to be my first track. So, and then for tracks 2 and 3, what they are, I'm going through digital AES out looped into here, just from a single cable, because you can have 2 channels of AES over here from the left XLR output going into the CEDAR DNS-2, and then I've got the mono-link settings set up on this. So the mono-link takes just the one channel that's coming in and then splits it up into 2, and you can make each of the CEDAR DNS channels here, 1 and 2, treat it differently, even though you've got the same source. And then on the other end, it's also going out digitally into channel 1. And because the digital input on the 833 is only for AES, only channel 1, so that's why I had to reroute, it was my channel 2 over to track 1. And then of course my digital inputs 1 and 2, I'm routing to tracks 2 and 3. So basically what I've set up here is I'm just doing and I've labelled it as such as well. I've set up basically like a light noise reduction and a heavy noise reduction, just so that you've got options to listen to. Although the place here is pretty quiet enough. I mean, I turned off the fridge that we're standing right next to, because it's kind of my living room, kitchen, whatever general area. we were recording, so I turned that off, and I even turned off the lights as well, because I wanted it to have a bit of a dark mood that I was feeling. So even though obviously the lighting didn't really matter for what I was recording, I'd actually turned off like almost all of these lights except for that one light over there, because I wanted to feel that emotion of this dark, sort of slightly sinister murder mystery kind of scenario of the script. I felt that might help me act better if I was feeling it, as opposed to just in a big bright room. And so yeah, I turned off those, but yeah, I switched it back on just for this quick thing. And yeah, anyway, so as to why I set it up like that, because in this current coronavirus era we're living in, currently we're under lockdown. You cannot go outside unless it's to go walk your dog or something, or if you're going to the supermarket to buy groceries, so we're going to the pharmacy or something, or just anywhere, or an emergency if you've got to rush to the hospital, I guess. But yeah, basically you're not really allowed outside at the moment because we're under the highest lockdown level 4. And but at some point this is going to be lifted, but people will still be quite cautious and concerned to be extra careful, to follow what will be sort of the health and safety guidelines we'll have in place. And so I imagine that lots of people will not be wanting to use lavs, like I'm, for instance, using this little apertured lav running into my Panasonic G6 at the moment, just hiding here under my bed. So you won't want to use lavs because that's one of the more, you want to practice that social distancing and keeping away from people and not having really increasing any touching of what you're touching with what they're touching. And so we'll probably try to stick with only using booms whenever you can. And in fact, the last production I worked on only a couple of days before we got all locked down was, actually that was for the government's advertising that we're seeing all on TV and YouTube and so forth. I was actually the main unit sound recordist for that. Anyway. I didn't use any lavs in that. I only was using my boom mic, and so we only use boom. That's sort of what I recommended as well. And I'm sort of thinking in this future world where we're only using booms, so you're no longer giving the dialogue editor and post any options to ever use the lav. He's only got the boom to choose from. But at least here by running the CEDAR DNS-2, I've given them 2 other choices that they can consider. Either the CEDAR track or the boom track. And why not, because they've got nothing else to process, why not loop through 2 CEDAR DNS tracks then? So I've got a more heavy-handed one. I've got more of a soft touch to the noise reduction with the CEDAR track. So now they've got 3 tracks to choose from in post. I mean, of course, ideally, they should probably be doing this noise reduction themselves in post. But not everybody has that experience or necessarily owns the CEDAR software to do that. So yeah, now I'm just providing it. So anybody is, they don't need to be an expert. They can just simply have a listen to tracks and choose what's the best track. And so, why not give them... Anyway, I'm rambling on and just say goodbye. Hopefully I'll see you again, all alive and well. Leave a comment down below saying how you're finding life. I'd love to sort of hear stories around the world of how's you experiencing. Hopefully this will be over and we'll have a brighter, happier day to talk about. See ya.